Hi everyone, it's Ian from D.I.Y Home and Gardening. As part of my Build a Greenhouse project, it's going to allow me to do a few extra sort of sub videos on different construction type techniques. So yeah, hopefully you'll find these videos useful and might be able to put the techniques to some use. So let me turn the camera around and talk you through them. Right, okay, so ready to fix the first sort of roof bars or joists on. So now we need to work out how to actually cut them to create your sections where it will sit onto the plate or the roofing plate. So this is your roofing plate, and the cut section here is actually called a bird's mouth, and you can see that in order for it to sit squarely on this plate, we're going to have to work out an angle upwards and an angle on a horizontal. So we're going to have to do that at the top, also at the bottom, and we'll also want to cut the very top of the timber work to get it so it sits nice and flat against the wall. How do we do that? Right, this is called a speed square. It has loads of measurements on it, which quite frankly look really daunting and baffling to use, but it's quite straightforward. So let me show you the first stage, and that is, if you've already got a piece of timber up, which I've got, just offer it up and you're looking at this common top cut list of numbers, and you want to see where your timber lines up with. What you can also use, if you're not quite sure on that, you can always run a string line from very top to, well, internal section of the top to the outer edge of your timber work, and then you'll be able to see the angle at which it goes. So when we sit this plate here, let's try and do this one-handed, you can see that the timber work actually lines up with the number 2. So that's the number to bear in mind for all of these procedures. Okay, so set your speed square up onto your piece of wood, and again bearing in mind your number 2, bring it out so that the pivot bit is onto your wood, and we move it out to number 2, and then you can just slide it along until you reach the very bottom of your timber work, so the bit that will sit on the top of the, well, that will be sitting on the wall, and that's your angle at which to cut. So mark that and cut that, and that'll be your first stage to get it nice and flat against the wall. Right, so you can see it's now sitting flush against the wall, well, pretty much. Next, what we need to do is we need to take some measurements. So first off, we want this measurement here, and then we also want the measurement from the internal point there down to this point here. And I think I might have said earlier about setting a string line up to the outer edge. I didn't mean that, I meant to the internal edge. So actually you'd end up measuring from this point up to the internal point there. So that's the next thing to do, and then once you've measured your distances, transfer those distances onto this timber work. Okay, so we've got our pencil mark there, which is the length that we measured earlier, and we just need to work out what the angle of the cut's going to be. So again, put your speed square there, mark on at the 2, which is the angle, so got that there, and then you literally can pivot round so that that corner there that's marked pivot, just keep working your way around. We'll keep it on the line, more difficult with one hand, until it's lined up with your mark from your 2 there, and then draw a line. Okay, so you can see we've got our angle cut drawn on. Next you just need to measure width of the wood you're using, so you can kind of roughly see where it's at, is that line there. So turn your speed square round, mark it on the timber or use a tape measure. So that is our marking there. Turn your speed square over, open it up till you get to your all important number 2 again, slide it along up until you meet your marking that you've just put on there, and mark it out, and that'll be your upright. Okay, so it's marked out, so you can see that this is the angle to cut on, and also this is to form your bird's mouth, which will enable the timber to fit nice and flat onto the frame at which we've constructed. What you can also do at this same stage is to work out how much of an overhang you want for your, how much overhang you want, and then you can mark that angle at the same time and get that cut also. Right, thought I'd show you complete. So we got the bird's mouth cut out there. Coming down, we then got the next bird's mouth, which would be on our side panelling, and then also cut the vertical point there. So let's just go and offer it up, check it all fits. Okay, so that fits. I was reasonably confident it would, but you can never quite tell. Anyway, that's the first one done. So then easiest way, rather than keep measuring out all the time, use this beam then as your template and just get all the others cut.